So for more on this, I'm now joined by TRT World's Editor-at-Large, Ahmed Burai. Thank you very much for joining us here in the studio, Ahmed. So now the main argument here for cutting ties with Qatar is for its alleged ties, support of terrorism. However, the Saudi government has been accused of the same, including providing funds to the Afghan Taliban since the 1990s. So why is this happening now?
Simply because the Qataris, they have different perspective when it comes to the Arab Spring, mainly in Egypt. The Qataris didn't support the coup in Egypt. They supported the revolution of the Arabs in Syria, in Egypt, in Yemen, and in different countries. That's the main problem between the Gulf countries and Qatar. The second main problem is their support to the Palestinian movement. I mean, the resistant movement, simply, that is Hamas. Qatar is hosting the chief of Hamas leadership, Khalid Mish'al, in Qatar. Recently, Saudi Arabia asked them to deport him or to cut the relations with them. One of the senior officials of Hamas has left Qatar yesterday, moving to Malaysia because of the pressure practiced by the Gulf countries over the country. The American administration, the Trump administration, is unequivocally asking the Gulf countries
Okay, we've just had a response from Qatar. So they are saying, Qatar is saying it's unjustified and based on allegations. That's the latest comments we've had now from Qatar.
What Qatar has, on the other hand, what Qatar is believing is, though, they are still one member of the Gulf Cooperation Council, the GCC, and they believe they're reading from the same page. But this is the main problem, that it's alleged terrorism. They still believe that we need to support the revolution, the uprising, the Arab Spring, and we need to satisfy the aspirations of the people rather than supporting dictators who are not going to serve the Gulf and the Gulf countries. And they also believe, on the other hand, that the relations with Iran shouldn't be confrontational. They believe that Iran is a major player and it should be involved in the process of negotiation so that you could come out to real solutions in Syria, in Bahrain, and in Yemen. But the Saudis, based on the new coalition with Donald Trump, they believe that the hegemony and the over-expansionist policy of Iran can only be deterred by a union, a Sunni coalition. Even you could include Israel in this Sunni coalition, which Qatar is not reading from this page.
And in the case of Yemen, you have mentioned it. So what about being expelled from the Saudi-led coalition? What impact will that actually have on Yemen?
Already the Yemen is a quagmire, and the whole coalition, the Saudi, the Qatari, the United Arab Emirates, are not doing good job. They didn't achieve real progress for more than 4 years now. Still, the war is going. The war-torn country is devastated, and the people there, they're living a real catastrophe, real traumas. If you just look at the people, even under the coalition government, they still living in a real crisis. So the Qataris, when they leave the coalition, I mean, the people in Yemen, they would not be able to have that kind of trust mainly in the United Arab Emirates. Recently, we have leaks speaking about private prisons in Yemen, where they're practicing torture against the rebels themselves, against the fighters. So the irony here is the Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates, they're supporting the Muslim Brotherhood in Yemen against the Houthis, where they're declaring them or labeling them a terrorist organization in Egypt and in Palestine.
So economically, though, what kind of ripple effect will it have on the Gulf region?
Yeah, Qatar is the whole countries. I mean, the GCC is one unity, and Qatar is a major player in terms of the gas, in terms of the oil, and they all complementary. Like now, when Qatar is having this rift or this kind of row between the countries, definitely this is going to cast dark shadows and have severe ramifications ramifications on the economic relations with Saudi Arabia, mainly when the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is talking about the diversification of the income and the diversification of the businesses the Gulf countries are working on. They're not going to mainly be dependent on oil and petrol. They're going to diversify as much as they can. Having a round now with Qatar is going to have serious consequences and repercussions on the progress they aspire to achieve.
And we also had a comment from the US, from Tillerson, saying that the Gulf region should stay united. But how do you see this ever getting resolved? I mean, do you think the US will get involved?
I think the main power that could be involved and have great relations with both parties is Turkey mediation and brokering any kind of reconciliation between the countries, because this happened before. Immediately after the coup in Egypt, this happened before, and the Bahrainis, they withdrew the ambassador from the country, from Qatar, but later on with the mediation and broker of Turkey, they find out a kind of common ground when they can talk, and they exceeded the route they had at that time. And I believe now it's not only the United States, mainly Turkey could have a great role to try to find a way to reconcile this issue. However, though, this time it's a little bit complicated, it's much serious, and the four countries seem to be determined that either Qatar, it's my way or the highway, as they say. Qatar should relinquish the Muslim Brotherhood, should consider it as a terrorist organization, should completely abandon the resistant movement of Hamas in Gaza. By this way only, for the GCC countries, along with Egypt, they believe that they could return to and amend the ties with Qatar.
So let's just add that Qatar did respond in the latest few minutes, saying it was unjustified and based on allegations. We'll be talking more about this. Thank you so much for joining us here in the studio, TRT World's Editor-at-Large, Ahmed Al-Burai.
Thank you.